Welcome to the Speakeasy Live Show, a cannabis education show that's so powerful you can feel the effects and still pass the drug test. Hey, we got some great guests for you tonight. We've got Laura Castro here in the house. We've got Benji Reyes. We got the Dabolition Derby. We also got the pot entrepreneur, Rob Mulligan. So stay tuned, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Everybody, welcome. It's the Speakeasy Live Show. Christopher Glue, JD, one of the top cannabis attorneys in the entire world. Hands down, entire
guilty
world.
as charged. Guilty as charged.
I am cannabis comedian Medicinal Mike with Benji Cooper, the Speakeasy news correspondent over there on the side. And we are joined today by one of my favorite people in the world, cannabis entrepreneur, movie director, lead singer of God Pond. He's done the movie Halitosis. He did Steve's Garden, a project with Michael Winslow and myself, and he's also Puff Tough E-Nails. You're also doing the cannabis the cannabis business podcast. What's the name of that?
Yeah, it's Mulligan Live. We do the entrepreneur motivational live feeds.
And if you can't see at home, he's got like 83-foot dreadlocks hanging off and piled up in the corner back here.
Whip those around for the audience.
They're all
look at this thing.
tangled up in our feet.
We've got some years of neglect right here.
Those are just monster. How long? I know it's not the greatest part, but how long did it take you to grow your dreadlocks to be that long?
Yeah, it's since 1995.
Wow.
I think of all the things that I could have done, and growing dreadlocks isn't one that I thought of in 95. So let's talk first about, you have a movie coming out.
Halitosis, The Legend of Stankmouth.
And this is an affiliation with Troma Pictures?
Well, that's one of the possible distribution deals. You know, I did a bunch of marketing and promotions for Troma back in the day with my marketing company, Capacity Productions, so I have a good relationship with them. As you know, you were in the film, and you know Lloyd Kaufman was in the film, the owner of Troma Entertainment.
Troma, if you don't know, is the ones that brought you the Toxic Avenger and all those
classics.
Weird B rated horror movies that were just extremely gory.
Yeah, they're the kings of independent film. You know, they've been dominating that forever.
Stankmouth, who's the scary character in this film, is tell us about him.
Well, he's got a bit of a condition. You know, I mean, you can kind of see the cartoon version of him right here. You know,
that's a condition, for sure.
He's got a little issue going on, and a lot of people are turned off by his issue, and it causes a lot of situations for him that he reacts to. So.
And what is that issue, just to clarify it, please?
I'm thinking it's bad breath. I don't know.
It's really, really bad breath. Yeah, really bad breath.
Well, he has for lack of, I don't know the medical term, but a butthole for a mouth.
I think that's medical. That's exactly.
Is that the medical term?
That's the terminology.
If you go to see a doctor, that's generally how they diagnose it.
Right.
It's either halitosis or butt mouth.
Butt mouth.
Right.
And then there's poopies that come out of his mouth when he does what he does talking.
Yeah, that's a real problem.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily talk as much as he farts out of what would be his mouth, I guess.
Also a medical term.
Yeah. And if you don't get it, it's a comedy horror.
And when is this one hitting the public? This one's all done in the can.
Well, yeah, we're just wrapping up post-production now, so we should be available to the public just within months. We're hoping that we're going to hit some streaming options by Halloween, and we'll have shortly after that some Blu-ray options and stuff. But we've been taking pre-orders.
I'm in a sex scene, Chris.
Oh yeah. Lord!
I'm in a sex scene. Oh. It's my first sex scene.
Yeah. No, I
was just thinking of how excited I was to see it, and then that came
out. Your scene is definitely going to be one of the more spank bank moments of the film, if you.
Yes. Can I say it's not a spoiler if I say what I'm doing, right?
Let's not even say.
I won't say. Just I'm in a sex scene.
It's got to be a surprise.
Well,
I'm in a sex scene, Chris.
I'm really kind of disappointed that it's coming out in October. It should come out in November to coincide with the election. I mean, people talking a lot of shit. Yeah, stank mouth seems like it would coincide perfectly, and
Definitely.
might want to change that release date to be like right on election day.
Right. Well, we're thinking of part 2 where we can star maybe like the father of Stankmouth being Trump or something along to kind of go hand in hand with those memes that you see online with the butt face and
So now you have a current project right now and works with Michael Winslow. Michael Winslow is the black man off of Police Academy that did all the voices and the mouth sounds, and he was just an awesome dude. And tell us about Steve's Garden.
It's a cannabis-themed puppet show. It's based around this fantasy world, and it's these puppets that love cannabis. It's not focusing so much on, smoking cannabis and the fun party aspect of it. It has, education mixed in, but it's just a lot of fantasy fun. And as you know, you've been a partner with me on this project. Mike's one of the writers and helping create some of the ideas.
It's a lot of plugs for Mike today, Chris.
Yeah, I feel like this has something to do with Mike.
I'm trying to hide under the table.
I'm thinking you didn't have me on so much to plug what I'm doing as much as just to come and hype you.
Right. Tell him how good my birthday was.
It's pretty good,
and the next topic is, how cool is Mike?
Right, Mike is awesome.
Tell us how great Mike is.
Mike's in a sex scene. The puppets that are in Steve's Garden too, I want to say, are phenomenal because I've worked with puppets before. I love puppets personally, and I've always worked with the little ones. These little, yeah, I know. I really love puppets. We don't talk about it. I have to be within 200 feet.
Yeah, right.
But now these are giant Sesame Street, Muppet puppet giant puppets. And they're doing cannabis and
I just want to know if there's a stank mouth puppet.
Why isn't there a stank mouth puppet?
Hopefully soon, yeah. We're going to work on plush toys and all kinds of figurines, and, we'll see how far we can push it.
And then now, and you're a guy who does everything, and your hashtag is work, team no sleep. You have the Puff Tough email right now, which is one of the most fantastic. I use it myself. I love it. I don't have to use a blowtorch. And
what is this? What is a product? Or what are we talking
email,
about?
if you do dabs, if you're a concentrate smoker, what you'll know is you take a blowtorch, which tends to be scary if you're not used to it, and then you light up your little thing and then it vaporizes it off. Well, with an e-nail, you don't have the fire hazard anymore. It just keeps it hot. It's a little hot coil that wraps around. It has a contraption that controls the unit, and it makes it so that your cannabis is much more safer because you won't burn yourself up in a horrible fire.
I love that. More safe.
Yeah, it's all digital, And then we also have the complete vape kits and rosin presses. And
what's the name of this product line?
It's Puff Tough. It's pufftough.net, yeah.
Puff Tough.
Puff Tough.
Puff Tough.
Puff Safe.
Yeah, and that's Pufftuff.
Okay.
Puff Tough, yeah.
And then also now you have a podcast that is fast on the rise because you're doing a subject that nobody tends to touch, and that's the actual business of cannabis.
Right. Well, it's kind of like, you see these motivational speakers and life coach style people online, and I see this huge just presence of these people, and they don't really have a good track record or any actual proof of concept. They'll get on and they'll try to sell their book or their lesson plan of how to sell more, and people buy into these things, and I'm trying to do this podcast without selling anything, just giving away free entrepreneur advice of how I started all my businesses, how I promote, how, from being a touring musician, my published comic book, the TV shows, the movies, my products. It's just that whole entrepreneur lifestyle. And that's the whole basis on the podcast is, being motivated and a hard worker and, living that entrepreneur lifestyle, but it all being fueled by cannabis.
That's awesome.
I'm an avid cannabis activist and advocate since 1995. I don't think I've gone one day without medicating. And through all that, I've been able to produce all these.
You haven't been out since 1995.
So how does one find you? You got so many different things going on. What's the best way to reach Rob Mulligan?
Yeah, the best way would be mulligan3.com, just the number 3, mulligan3.com. I host all my links and sites and domain names, products, everything right there you can find and explore.
Perfect, man. Yeah, check out Rob Mulligan. It's mulligan3.com, right? Mulligan3.com. And thank you again to our sponsor, CBD Living Water. And make sure you check out the August edition of Dope Magazine with our favorite, Charlie Blair. Going to be featured in that. And again, thank you for coming into the show, Rob. Appreciate you.
Thanks
You're
for having
watching
me.
the Speakeasy Live Show with Medicinal Mike and Chris Lou. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Speakeasy Live Show. All right. I'm joined by Medicinal Mike down there at the end, way down there at the end.
Way down here at the end.
And we've got the Dabolition Derby in the house. Look at that, Dabolition Derby. Right on. It's funny. I was wondering who's going to host this event. Is that you, Mike?
It's me
Oh,
again.
okay.
Glorify
Shameless
my
self-promotion.
day. This is one of the coolest events I've ever even had the honor to be a part of. Let me tell you, not only do they have branded cars that are going to be smacking into each other. Trailer Park-a-Palooza is what I wanted to name it because it's freaking awesome.
That
They're
sounds
gonna
like the
have pro
title of your
wrestling.
sex scene in the upcoming movie. Yeah.
Or all tied for second. I'm trying to work. But they're going to have pro wrestling here. And they also have RVD, Rob Van Dam, WWE Superstar Champion, going to be coming out to receive the Speakeasy Nug Life Lifetime Achievement Award, all at Dabolition Derby.
Look out.
Hands down, education, entertainment, and cars smacking into each other. Somebody's guaranteed to die.
Can't stress that
Guaranteed
enough.
to die. You're going to
Cars
see fire,
smashing into each
explosions. It's fantastic. You can drive your own car, too. Can we really? Yeah. Can we, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. I love that idea. September 17th and 18th, correct? Those are the dates? Right. All right. Yeah, go check it out. The Dabolition Derby at Lake Paris Drive in Paris, California.
What gave you the inspiration to become the new king of cannabis demolition? I just made that up for you.
I grew up in the area where they have this track to where it just seemed obvious to just do a demolition derby, and then Dabolition Derby just sounded good to do.
I like this and I like this, and that's how Reese's Pieces works.
The real question is, are you requiring that the drivers actually dab before?
No.
Oh, okay.
No dabbing.
Oh, can you imagine a glass piece in the car just bouncing around? That'd be fantastic. Yeah, if you're smart, stay sober for that day. If you are a driver,
Unless you're in the audience, then dab away.
We just wanted to do something different. You know, not a cup, not anything, no competition, just like kind of just have fun.
This is indeed the most unique event that I've ever. I mean, I do 40 events a year, and you're not seeing anything like this. Just killing, totally broke the mold.
Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking the mold.
Well, Jimmy came along and helped out with the charity aspect of it, to where the Demolition Derby is going to help out with over 10 charities, if not more.
Hopefully over 10 charities. I come from the cannabis industry, and I lost my sister to cancer, so I see all these events that are going on, and they're fun and everything, but we wanted to bring something also to some substance and start bringing some awareness to what is our community is really about, the medical patients,
right.
The vets, childhood cancer, EB, which is a really rare skin condition, and some others that we want to also bring to the table and also help out. This is a good time to share everything and bring all of our community together and talk about what we really need in our community as far as our medical health and stuff like that.
That's great. And I see you actually have some can of games going on as well. Is that in addition to the Demolition Derby?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What games?
They're gonna hide a gram underneath one of the cars during the derby, and if you find it, you can keep it, but only during the actual derby.
That could get ugly.
Full contact.
It's just going to be a variety of games, like carnival games, a bunch of different type of games throughout the park.
Art battle. Tell me about that.
About hopefully 12 to 24 different artists, like all battling together. We're gonna have like a ballot to where all the patients can come and choose and see everybody kind of battling together.
Nice.
And kind of like they can all see each other. There's gonna be like little triangle sections all set up to where the artists can all just kind of interact with everybody.
What
That's
kind
great.
of music are you guys gonna have down there?
Well, we have Dan Kelly here.
Thank you.
From Fortunate Youth.
Everybody give him a round of applause. Dan Callie from Fortunate Youth. Hottest on the rise.
Great crowd here, ladies and gentlemen. Great crowd. You guys always click in. They got a great crowd over here.
You guys are going insanely popular right now with Fortunate Youth. I mean,
We're having fun. We're very
I'm
fortunate,
hearing
I'd
you
say.
everywhere, like everywhere. I hear the name
Spotify,
being dropped.
Pandora, even on what's XM Radio right now? They got the God, I can't even think of it. XM Radio, find it.
Are you having fun with it? Is it like overnight, or like a lot of people don't realize it takes years and years of hard work?
Yeah, we've been doing this for about 7 years. Right
Yeah.
now we're on tour with Slightly Stupid. We'll probably be on tour with them probably the rest of the year.
Kyle,
And great guys, great message. You know, everybody, we're all trying to heal minds and heal people and just live good lives, you know. Just like the show, everyone here is just great people. An audience, they're the best. You know. Listen to them out there.
what is it that you do with the band?
I do nothing. I'm lazy. I just sing. I tell everybody I'm lazy, but mostly I just sing. You know, everyone in the band changes off instruments. You know, so you couldn't replace anybody if you tried. Me and the drummer, we stay in our spots. You know, we do good right there. But you know,
Is it because you don't play instruments?
not at all. It's just they want you to do something 100%.
Right.
You know, so go do it 100%. Because I used to do it all and be like, yeah, I did it all. And I'm like, yeah, but you kind of You're not 100%. You got to be 100%. You want to go out there, wake up, and do what you got to do every day. You know, we used to do 270 shows a year, and now we're down to 170, and we're doing nice amphitheaters and nice theaters around the country, and Guam and Hawaii, and you know, we're moving around. We're really getting out there. We're working on our fifth album coming up next year.
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
Thanks, guys.
You're quickly becoming like the theme singers for cannabis.
Please check it out. We got a new video coming out, Past the Herbs. You know, Past the Herbs is more than just passing the herbs. It'll be out, maybe like, when we're, voting on stuff.
Yeah, it features Marlon Asher, the ganja farmer, too.
Marlon Asher.
Yeah, that's our boy
Caleb
right
from The Green. Even Raw, they helped us out a lot with that one. They're a good sponsor with Weed Maps. Weed Maps helped us out.
Shout out to Weed Maps.
Big shout out to those guys. Anyone that's helping in this community, they're really helping out, not just one person. There's a long line of people that are helping people, and we're all trying to help everybody get up. It's a lot of education. It's a lot of don't be scared. It's a lot of, it's jar of beautiful punch.
Yeah, these
guys
so
are awesome,
heavy right here.
How many milligrams?
This says it's
2,400.
2,400 milligrams in a
looks like-
row.
Don't be afraid of these things, people.
That looks like a giant jug of moonshine
Bud
right
King
there.
puts out something good.
You know what's cool, Chris, is
with a friend.
you could drink this whole jar and be, you're going to be extremely
Paralyzed?
medicated. Yeah, you're close to paralysis, but you won't die from it because cannabis has never killed
But I may
anybody.
never wake up from the coma.
You're definitely not
Well,
going to
we
beat
can
your
try.
wife.
We can definitely try.
Well, one of the reasons I want to get back to Fortunate Youth, that's one of the reasons why they're playing the event, because they're all about the fans, and we want it to be all about the fans. I toured with them for a few years, and they're all about the fans.
And you're now the manager, right?
Well, I'm on the management team.
Okay.
Like it's a huge team, and that's what it is, like a big old marriage, and we just
Nice.
all really get along really good.
That's great.
So, and that's why they're part of this event, 'cause we want to bring them together.
You're like a
It
collective.
works out.
Works out. He cooks like clean.
That's great.
So, where can people get hooked up with Dabolition Derby information?
www.dabolitionderby.com.
And how about Fortunate Youth?
Fortunate-youth.com. Fortunate Youth, anything. Pandora, Spotify. You find it. It's there. You find anything. If you find us, you find new music.
But find you first. Find
It's
anything.
there. Yeah,
After you
it's-
Google
it's
Fortunate
all
Youth,
there.
then Google everything
So much
else.
new music for everybody,
So is Green Dream Entertainment one of your companies? Then
Yes.
too? Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So we can check out Green Dream Entertainment online. It's going to pop up.
All Instagram everywhere at Green Dream Entertainment, at Dabolition Derby, at Dabolition Derby, at Instagram, everywhere.
All right, great. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. Jimmy Castillo, Dabolition Derby, Fortunate Youth. Thank you to CBD Living Water again, Speakeasy 710, Weed Maps, Dope Magazine. We'll be right back.
Over a month after it reached his desk, Missouri Governor Jay Nixon has signed a bill this week that will allow for the records of most marijuana convictions to be expunged from public records. Senate Bill 588 wasn't actually introduced by any cannabis advocacy group, but by the Missouri Bar Association and Republican Senator Bob Dixon. Their aim was to expand the list of offenses that qualify for expungement. Representative Jay Barnes says it's designed to give credit to those Missourians who made mistakes in their lives, but who paid their debt to society and have turned their lives around. That's part of the American story of redemption. The bill now allows for hundreds of nonviolent, non-sexual crimes, including marijuana offenses, to be waived from public record, which has prevented many people in the past in the state from getting a job, a car, or even a home.
Well, hey, yeah, there you go. Applause for that. The reality is that anytime you're giving someone the opportunity to re-enter the workforce and, clean up their record and do things like that, it's a good thing. That's the reality. Everybody deserves a second chance. And we're talking about marijuana, quite frankly, they should just have it expunged off their record immediately. But, the reality is that more and more states need to be progressive in thinking like that because, your average one-time marijuana offender is not the kind of person you really want to see excluded from, job, searches and from government positions. Most of those people are very productive, very good, high-quality citizens.
Well, I think the stigmas are starting to die out. People are starting to realize that, someone has, they got arrested because they were smoking marijuana. That doesn't make them a bad person.
Is this going to release people that are currently locked up for nonviolent cannabis offenses?
Doesn't sound that way.
This is just for expungement of the offense from their records.
What a pain to have to sit in there in prison right now and watch them just legalize everything and start to expunge people and have to worry, because after you've been in there over 10 years, a lot of these guys feel like everybody's forgotten about them. Right. And, it's good to try to reach out. There's groups out there like POW 420 that will help you with letter writing. You take 10 minutes of your day, and, you could really change the disposition of another man's personality.
That's right. Amen for that.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
What else you got in the news?
Well, the Arkansas Secretary of State's office has confirmed this week that a measure to legalize access to medical cannabis has gathered enough signatures to qualify for the November ballot. The measure, Arkansas for Compassionate Care, would allow for patients suffering from one or more of over 50 qualifying conditions to obtain a medical cannabis card from one of 38 licensed nonprofit care centers. To grow their own cannabis, patients would need to obtain a hardship certificate that states that they do not live within a reasonable distance from one of the care centers. A similar measure was listed on the ballot in 2012, but was narrowly defeated after it received only a 40% yes vote, though advocates say this time is different, noting that polls are showing an 84% support for medical cannabis. Arkansas is now the 8th state voting on marijuana initiatives this fall, joining Florida and Missouri for medical marijuana, whereas the other 5, California, Nevada, Arizona, and Maine, will be voting on recreational cannabis, and a 9th state, Michigan, has a measure that is currently in litigation after the state deemed that their signatures were stale.
Well, all right. So, how is Arkansas one of the last states to be talking about legalizing any form of medicinal cannabis when Bill Clinton was from Arkansas? Come on, the whole state probably smokes weed, right?
they didn't want any more Bill Clintons.
Oh, okay. There you go. The only person to ever say I smoked but I didn't inhale, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They're actually a state that's actually making some progress. This year, they passed some legislation to help out cannabis patients.
Bill, get back there and do something, son. Get it handled, buddy. All right.
So they're saying that if you live within a certain distance or too far from a dispensary or cooperative, that you're able to grow. But what about people who are actually ill? Like, I can't grow anything personally, and if I need my meds, I can't rely on the ignorance of my growing skills to provide them for me. I'm not going to get them 26% THCs in my garbage.
Well, they're saying in the state, if you live too far from one of these nonprofit care centers, then you would file for one of these hardship certificates saying you live too far away, and then they would allow you to grow your own. Otherwise, you have to buy it there.
Does it say how much you can grow? Can we grow a field if we move a few blocks down?
Possibly.
Oh, good to know. What else you got in the news, sir?
Well, in case you haven't had a dose of weird marijuana news today, after 26-year-old Joshua Lee Long from Carlisle, Pennsylvania was arrested late last month on burglary charges, his aunt discovered a human brain stashed in a plastic bag under his friend's trailer and contacted the police.
This is one of your clients, Chris.
Allegedly.
According to a law enforcement, Long and his friend Robbie Lee Zoller had soaked marijuana in the embalming fluid that the brain was coated in and then smoked it. Embalming fluid usually contains formaldehyde and methanol, which when smoked produces strong hallucinogenic effects.
PCP.
Long was charged with conspiracy and abuse of a corpse, while his friend Robbie Zoller and his girlfriend Angela Miklo are on the run after a $36,000 robbery spree. As for the brain, which Long and Zoller called Freddie, the real owner has not been discovered, and State Trooper Bob Hicks says, "We're hoping that if anyone feels like they're missing a human specimen brain, bring it to our attention and maybe we could return it to its rightful owner."
Okay, well, I feel like somehow this is another promotion for Mike's new movie coming out. Is Stankmouth involved in this crime in any way?
My theory is that they were trying to make Sun Rocks, and they did it entirely wrong.
Oh, hey, if you're going to get Sun Rocks, Apollo's, that's the place to go. Apollo's Sun Rocks. Now, how did that sponsor just get tied to that story?
Because professionalism, sir. Professionalism.
Blame it on Benji.
They're coating it with formaldehyde instead of delicious cannabis oil.
So, how do you? Let's just say that was a client of yours. Is that something you can defend? Like, hey, we're smoking a brain.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and pass on representing that person. Yeah, just saying.
We're going to send that one down the road.
Well, that was the news brought to you by Benji Cooper. And we are the Speakeasy Live Show. Make sure to check us out online at www.speakeasylive.com. Liveshow.com. Sorry about that. We'll be right back with more of Medicinal Mike and Chris Glue on the Speakeasy Live Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Speakeasy Live, make it real loud for legendary comedian and Spanish educator, Benji Garcia-Reyes.
Speakeasy Live. Give it up for yourselves for coming out. And now give it up for teen moms, because they gave it up too, right, guys? Woo! Thank you guys for not getting sent these. That's a Spanish word, which pretty much means that I need to get a breathalyzer for my Facebook. Yes, guys, I am Mexican, but when I'm really high, I'm Filipino. I'm from the south, real south part of California, South San Diego, or the north part of Tijuana. It just depends which direction I'm running in the tunnel. Yeah, I also love music while I'm digging that tunnel. One of my favorite songs is Every Day I'm Shoveling. Yeah, that is dubstep. Dubstep fans, yes. But I love dubstep because it kind of reminds me of Transformers farting, you know? Yeah, this is great, man. You guys don't know, but I am the people's comedian. And that's because I was raised on your tax dollars. And I learned what you guys call English, I call white words. Words like likewise or handsome. When I was in high school, I used to use handsome wrong, like totally. Yeah, I used to actually look at beautiful girls, you know, like, hey, you're a handsome girl right there. Green dress, you're handsome too. And that's because when I would see a handsome woman, I would get the strong urge to run to the bathroom and give my hand some. You guys are awesome. Man, you guys don't know, man. I don't like to tell people I'm a comedian because then they start to tell me jokes, you know, or try and outdo me. So I recently started telling people that I do porn instead. Yeah, you guys can't tell, but I have a little kid. I have a girl. She's 7 years old. She's about this tall. The best way I can describe her is the devil wears Dora. And because I'm a comedian and I never get paid, most of the time I call her the Hunger Games. Yeah, we get along pretty good, man. Sometimes I confuse her, you know, like with my stoner buddies. Like the other morning, she was having breakfast, and I was like on Facebook being sent these, right? And she started coughing out her juice everywhere. And I ran over and I patted her on the back, and I was like, "Baby, are you okay? All right, you have to hold it in longer. That's expensive juice." Oh man, you guys have been a lot of fun. I don't have a job, so if you guys like me and want to check out more of my stand-up, I do tons of it in front of Home Depot. Thank you guys very much, Speakeasy Live. I love you guys.
All right, we are back with the Speakeasy Live show. We got Benji Reyes joining us now. And he's a pretty funny guy. You got to check him out. Hey, where do we find you online for real? Where do we find Benji Reyes?
Faceboner.com.
Faceboner.com. There it is. Bam. Hey, if you want to find this guy, the people's comedian.
You asked him. Once again, thanks again to Benji Garcia-Reyes from Faceboner.com. It makes you smile when you say it. I got one right now, face boner.
Look at that.
I want to bring your attention to our next guest. Speaking on behalf of Mr. Eddie Lepp. If you don't know who Eddie Lepp is, he is he was a cannabis grower,
political prisoner,
and an activist and political prisoner. He's been locked up now for Laura Costa. Again, welcome everybody. Big round of applause for Laura Costa.
Locked up for over 7 years, or coming to the end of the 7th year, I think.
And what was it he had? Like Chris, you were aware it was like a large number of plants growing. He was a donor patient, so he gave the excess medicine to.
Yeah, he was a farmer,
right? He was a grower.
Mm-hmm. He's also a Rastafarian minister and a Vietnam veteran. So Eddie covers a lot of bases. He's all over the map there.
And he's getting out, actually, right? In December. Finally. And that's just a few years short of a 10-year prison sentence is what they initially had for him. And this man has had the support of the entire cannabis community behind him.
That's right.
The entire community. Ponyboy is a good friend of mine, and big supporters, Be Real, all the musicians that are out there in cannabis are always mentioning Eddie Lepp. And he's getting free, so that's a good thing.
Dennis Perone called me last week.
And Dennis Perone, if you don't know, is one of the main creators of the 215 bill, the reason that you people have medical cannabis in California right now.
The freedoms that we enjoy, yes. And Dennis is also a Vietnam combat veteran, so these guys speak of a lot of other issues with PTSD and veterans issues. But with Eddie getting out of jail or prison, Dennis wanted to have a party. We realized that Eddie probably can't go to a party at Dennis Perone's house. That's not going to work out very well.
Probation.
Yeah, there will be some probationary factors. But if he is a Rastafarian minister, and it doesn't appear that they made him cut his hair while he was in jail.
Wow.
So if the federal government is going to recognize that he's a Rastafarian minister with
So is
his
he
hair,
going to come out with these long dreads?
It's not that long. I saw a picture, but yeah. Anyway, Eddie's getting out, and Dennis wanted to do something nice, so I think everybody getting together and maybe sending in some audio or video messages. We're going to film a couple while I'm here in town. I'm going to San Diego this weekend and maybe talk to some other people. But getting some video messages or testimonials about Eddie Lepp, what's going on? And one thing I heard Eddie say on a year-old interview was that Jack Herrera died, and that went on without Eddie Lepp. And he hasn't dealt with that, and 7 years of things went on. So everybody that loves Eddie Lepp, and I don't know if I've never met him. I'm involved because I'm friends with Dennis Perone, and I'm honored to do it, to put something together. So we're going to have a virtual party because we don't think he's going to get to attend. And we're going to put together a lot of clips and maybe a playlist of what everybody's favorite song of the last 7 years would be. If you wanted to let Eddie rock out on a playlist, what
Justin
would you put
Bieber, the whole thing. The 1 hour loop of that Love Your Mother song or My Mom Don't Like You. That's on loop, 1 hour of that.
Some things you're better off missing.
There's a lot of people, too, like recently Jeff Mazinski, he was held up for 20 years. He was locked up and he was released. And they don't realize that when they do get out, a lot of the community wants to put them on our shoulders, and hoist them away. But they have to catch up on life,
There's
because
some counseling to have happen. And 7 years is a long time. Tommy Chong was lucky. He had, I think, only about a year. But the same type of things happen. People get sick while you're in jail. You can't medicate. Things are crazy.
Where is he currently housed?
In Colorado, Florence.
Okay, all right.
But he'll be released to San Francisco to a halfway house.
Excellent.
And to be in Colorado, of all places, locked up for marijuana, it's got to be just silly. I mean, people have got to be just like, hey, this man should have been out much, as soon as you make it recreational, you should just have to release. It should be obligated to release all the political prisoners.
The federal government didn't make it recreational.
There's
still against that.
And he's serving a federal crime for over 25,000 plants. He says that they counted wrong. It was way more than that.
Let's not remind him of that.
Allegedly.
We'll talk about that once he gets out of jail.
Right. It was way more. Oh, we're going to,
Well, those old boys up in San Francisco, they put on a good party. And I would suggest that anybody that has the chance to go and meet Dennis Perone, he actually runs his place as a B&B in San Francisco. And
the
you can meet
Castle.
the Castro Castle.
Castro Castle.
Yeah,
That's
it's on
what it is.
Airbnb occasionally. So, boy, what a treat to get to sit down there at the table and talk to the old dudes.
The entire place, if you haven't seen the Castro Castle of Dennis Perone, is painted in black light. The flowers are painted black light. Every single thing is glowing in there, and you immediately go into what feels like you're hallucinating just from hanging out.
It's
and
a
there's
rabbit
mirrors.
hole.
There's mirrors above every bedroom in the Castro Castle.
Lovely.
I'm not sure what that's for, but
the Castro.
they're there if you want to look at yourself while you sleep.
Where can we get more information on Eddie? Is there like a free Eddie Lepp website or?
We're going to pull something together for right now. Send any inquiries to castrocastle@gmail.com. All of the information, anybody's submissions of a video clip or anything like that will go directly to Dennis. They're going to cut that stuff up in San Francisco. I'm not qualified. I'm only qualified to spread the message.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Castro Castle at Gmail.
CastroCastle@gmail.com. Yes.
All right. Well, if you want to help out, check them out. That's Laura Cat. Oh, I'm sorry. I almost did it again. Laura Costa. It's going to cost you a lot.
Laura Costa. Everybody, big round of applause for Laura Costa helping us get the word about Eddie Lepp out there. Very important.
Yeah. And thank you for joining us on the Speakeasy Live Show. We had some great guests today. We have a lot of great sponsors to talk about Medicinal Mike. We got CBD Living Water. We got
my favorite.
Oh man, that stuff's good stuff. Apollo Sun Rocks. We got the Super Clinic. We've also got the Reserve. We have everybody that's come in and contributed to our show, our guests, our studio audience. We have the Speakeasy 710, of course. Can't forget about them. And Weed Maps, one of our newest sponsors.
The #1 marijuana locator in the country, weedmaps.com.
There it is. Until Microsoft tries to take over, of course.
Microsoft.com.
There you go. All right, go Weed Maps, go Speakeasy 710, CBD Living Water. Go check them out, Apollo Sun Rocks. Thanks for joining us on the Speakeasy Live Show. I'm Chris Glue, and this is Medicinal Mike.
We'll be back next week. Keep watching Speakeasy Live.